Audio Jungle.
I can't hear her.
Lifestyle which have profound impact on the individual capacity of learning. We listen to their inspiring stories, and here I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all the speakers who have come here, who have participated in the show and shared their stories. Today, it's a honor for me to introduce one of my mentor to this platform of IDYM, and she is working towards connecting young minds to strive towards success and achievement. We are grateful for her for accepting our invitation and becoming a guest for today's event. Our dynamic guest doesn't require an introduction. She is well recognized by all of us. She is known for her wonderful administration and high achievement of the institution. She is in charge of. Apart from this, she is a philanthropist and renders selfless services to society. She has molded the life of students and served people with her kindness, a progressive educationist who believes that challenges are stepping stones and risks taking are the triggers to success. On this note, I would like to welcome Dr. Preeti Shrimal for the show. I welcome you, ma'am. Can you hear me? Her objective is to social
Yeah. Hi, Pooja. A very
Hello,
good
ma'am.
evening. And unfortunately, I'm out at some function. But as per my commitment, I will definitely be a part of the show because this is something which is very close to our heart. IDYM is a platform which has given all of us so much of reason to connect. It is a platform wherein all of us have collaborated, and we have made such a fantastic network of friends, colleagues, like-minded people. So here I am, and
Thank you,
definitely
ma'am. From your
but
busy
this
schedule, you took out the time for us.
no,
Thank
no.
you once again.
Somehow, as they say, when things have to happen, they happen. And today happened to clash with a very important function, a family friend's wedding. So here I am, still.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
Pooja.
show won't stop, ma'am. So here's your commitment towards IDYM that you have promised, and you are here. Thank you once again, ma'am. We can understand from your background also that you are in the middle of something and you took out your time. So we won't take you much of your, and then we'll start with the show. So, to brief about ma'am, she has been into education field since 30 years and transferred different roles and profile as an educator, administrator, counselor, curriculum designer, school auditor, school inspector for 10 and 12. And currently, she is a principal of an ISC school in Vadodara. She is passionate, committed to seeking problem through a positive resolution and remain on the outlook for possible answers. She has, as I earlier mentioned, she has contributed to the overall growth and development over 25,000 students over a span of 15 years. And she wants to bring about a change. with a smile. Always you will find her with a smile. So, ma'am, now this was from our side. Now we wanted to listen to your story, your journey of different stages you have passed on. Ma'am, over to you.
So, Puja, for me, teaching was a matter of choice. It was a passion which I think I developed when I was at the university level, because I realized that there is so much which the profession has to offer, and there were a lot of professors who inspired me. Especially, there was a professor of literature, English literature, at my master's level. The way he connected with all of us, the passion with which he taught his subject was something which sort of inspired all of us. And at that young age, I think
Yeah.
all of us want to be teachers because we love being role models. So the passion of teaching was probably ignited then. And then, of course, as I moved ahead in life, I settled down in a place called Udaipur. There again, I was somehow very fortunate to be offered a job in a very prestigious school which was run by the royal family. And that's how the entire journey began. And since then, it's been a non-stop journey of learning, of meeting, students, of connecting, and definitely something which has been very gratifying for me, because in my 30 years, it's been 30 years now, Pooja.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
in these 30 years, they seem as if they've just passed in a jiffy. So there's so much that has transpired in my life. I've been blessed with a family. I've been blessed with fantastic colleagues. I've moved over a number of places. I have changed a number of jobs, of course, due to various personal reasons. And probably at every phase of my life, I have always and always wanted to connect. I have always wanted to have friends and to make that special difference in the lives of the young minds. Because, when I was a primary teacher, I began my teaching career as a primary teacher, very raw, just passed out of university, full of ideas. And,
Energy
we
full
are
of.
all driven by the passion to change the world. Matlab, दुनिया बदल देंगे, दुनिया को हिला देंगे. So that is the time when, you are probably at your 110%. Um, uh, I would say your passion is 110%. Your inner drive is at full throttle. You are there. So I realized that how much a teacher can inspire. The kind of way she can motivate. Probably no one can do that. And
Yes,
I've
ma'am.
always
Very true.
there's always a particular quote which keeps on ringing in my mind, and which I keep telling my teachers and my fellow mates and educators, is that actually the destiny of the nation is crafted in a classroom. All of
Yes.
us can make or
Yes.
break a child through what we say, through what we speak, through how we carry ourselves, through the way we communicate, verbal, non-verbal. So it has been a wonderful journey of 30 years. And there's so much I have learned. There's so much I have achieved. And yes, as they say, I still have miles and miles to go.
To go. Yes, ma'am.
My focus, along with academics, has always been to bring out, you know, that gem, that particular spark in every child. And we all know that when we were young, we were not given that opportunity.
Yes, ma'am.
And probably all of us would have been very different from what we are had we not worked upon ourselves. So, you also have to work on yourself. We have to work hard. We cannot at any point of time be complacent about who we are, what we are, or what we've achieved. So, yes, a wonderful, beautiful journey culminating in today's session with you. And I have made so many friends down the line. I have, there are so many students who have passed out from the years that I have worked with them.
And I
So,
think, ma'am, this is the word that the students come back and then they remember those things that what the teacher has
absolutely.
taught. What the teacher, they will always remember the school teacher, not for the college or universities, because that's a different level. So I think school is a place where the foundation of a student is being made. As you
Yes.
just mentioned that we teachers are the creators of young
So,
minds.
they come to us as wet mud. It's how
Yes,
the kind of imprints that we make in their lives
make us
through
difference.
our thoughts, through the way we teach them, through what we are giving to them emotionally, physically, psychologically, cognitively. So all that really, really makes and shapes them to become the human beings that they will become in the future.
I think all the viewers who are listening to this and who are the teachers, and if they are lagging behind, they should remember that whatever you are a role model to your students. You should
Yes,
be passionate
absolutely.
about it. It's just not about the giving them that particular topic. You should just touch their hearts. You should take their hand and just make
Yes,
them walk together. And that is
absolutely.
the work where the work of a teacher starts, ma'am. That is, you need to be very much careful while dealing with the students. And ma'am, through your journey, it is clearly visible that various stages you have passed on from a primary teacher to the coordinator to the curricular designer. So it's about your hard work and dedication towards your job, towards your which that I want you to go ahead. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your journey with all of us, and all the educator fraternity must be listening to, because you have been an integral part of IDY.
My
Thank you,
pleasure.
ma'am. Now, a few questions, ma'am. Ma'am, when you deal with difficult students, you have been dealing. So, at what point you involve the parent, ma'am, and how do you communicate with them? Because this is very,
So,
very important to deal with those parents when the parents are not able to tell, they are not able to explain their kids what is for them.
so Pooja, students are a very, very impressionable and at a very vulnerable stage of their life when they are in the school. So, if for me, the situation is never it's a situation which is which is a challenge. Students are never a challenge.
Hmm.
It is probably something which has triggered them. It is some circumstance. It is some kind of a maybe uh, something which has happened within their peer, or it is some remark by a teacher. So this has what has triggered, and that is what has made them probably become a little, as we say, a little, off track and become a little difficult. So we need to first tackle the situation, and that's what I've always been doing. So definitely, let's find out the root cause of the situation, and once, because whatever has happened in the school, it hasn't happened outside. So the
Hmm.
external influences have been there. There have been a lot of people probably who have uh, um, fueled the fire of the child's anger, frustration, or his not so conducive behavior. So we first need to find out the root, and that's what I have always done. And then there's a lot of counseling which we do. We talk to, and I believe in talking to the child. Let's just address it.
Hmm.
It has to be nipped at the bud. It's and only
Yes.
parents need to be involved in terms of apprising them of, yes, there is a problem which did occur, and maybe as a kind of a guidance to the parent that, see, he has got these kind of traits, we need to control it, or we need to give some kind of an intervention. And parents definitely do play a very important role in terms of molding a child's personality, but school plays an equally important role. So parents are the last resort. We need to call them only and only when we feel that, yes, the situation is now it has probably become very difficult, and the child also needs that kind of a guidance at home. So for me, I think parents need to be involved at the
At the
last stage
last
of
time.
any kind of a dialogue, any kind of an intervention, any kind of a counseling. All that has to be done by the school. Yes, because the child is with us for 6 to 7 hours. So 6 to 7 hours he's sitting in the school, he's being monitored, he's being tutored. There is an entire peer circle with him. So that is where we need to find out. Let's diagnose the problem. Let's find out what his trigger points are. And then once we've resolved, yes, we have to inform the parents, but
Yes,
only as the last resort. Yes.
rightly said, ma'am, because students are most of the time with the teachers in the school premises, and they are spending lots of anything. So the root cause has to be taken care of first, and then the parent has to be informed. Because again, ma'am, this is a school is an agency where the most of the learning is taking place in terms of socio-economic, in terms of socio-emotional learning, ma'am. Moving ahead with the next question, like we all know that bullying is one of the important problem in the school. So, ma'am, in your school, what are the measures you are taking in terms of that?
So, Pooja, we had just a month back, we launched something which we call the RI, Respecting Individuals. So, within this, we have our core team of students who go around, who've been made in charge of the anti bullying process in the school. So, we call them the anti bullying squad. So they take care of all the problems which are there because children associate better, they communicate better when it is the peer group talking to them.
Hmm.
So
Yes,
that's what
ma'am.
we have done. We have a core group which addresses, which goes to the classes, which talks to the students. Of course, sometimes students are very open to talk about it in front of a teacher. Sometimes they wish to talk in confidence. So that is something which we have started off, respecting individual campaign, within which all the high school students are a part of it. And this way, they also learn to be sensitive. They also learn to be more responsible. We have counselors on board who ensure that when they are visiting the classes, they observe the students, they are doing their own individual diagnosis. They are there watching them while a teacher is in the class, observing them during their lunchtime, during their free time, and they're able to actually find out. Uh, like we say, there are some dominant students in the class. There are some students who let themselves being led. There are some leaders in the class. So that is where we identify, and then we are able to give that kind of a counseling. Yes, we do have problems, but we inspire the students to be confident about talking about it,
Yes,
not to keep quiet about any
yes.
kind of a bullying. And we have a very open door policy in the school. Students at any point of time can come to me, can talk to the coordinators, can share if there is any concern, whether there is some kind of a bullying happening in the washrooms or in the vans or
Hmm.
in the buses. They are very open about it, and they share, and we encourage that. So
I think, ma'am,
definitely
by
through
sharing,
counseling,
most of the
through pep
problem is
talk.
solved.
Yes, yes.
So,
So it's handled at
I,
very sensitively, in a very matured way. And of course, it's also handled, we also give the responsibility to the core student group. So that makes it even more,
yes, much better,
you
much
know,
more bonded.
impactful. Yes,
Uh,
yes. They can
because
confide
again,
better to their own peers, to their
yes,
own brothers. They call bhaiyas and didis.
yes, yes.
So that way they are able to talk openly, and when these like it's the head boy or the head girl or the captains and vice captains talk to these youngsters or to any other student, they are able to even gather information.
Yes.
Sometimes there's so much which is seething, which we as educators may not be able to learn about, because a school is an ecosystem. It's a microcosm where it's a reflection of everything that's happening outside. So the children come with their entire, um, they bring their family talks inside. There's so much which they share, something that's happened that's at home, something which has happened in the school with friends. So all those are zones and areas where we first ensure that they open about it, they talk about it, and then find the trigger points.
I think, ma'am,
So
wonderful initiative taken by your school. And when the students, when their Didi and the Bhaiyas are there, I think half of the problem is solved. Because again, the teachers will, again, the age gaps come. So they are more close to those the seniors. And ma'am, I think bullying happens at all the ages. So it's one's take and one's comfort zone. How much confident you are to deliver that problem. So through these methods which you just talk about, and I think kindness, being kind to these students is one of the best thing we
Pooja,
can.
we've also got something which we call the help me boxes everywhere.
Okay.
So, yes, so they put their anonymous problems over there, and then
Wow.
we try to find out. Sometimes we tell them, you write your name also. You write your problem and believe, and it'll only be shared with the principal. So then they know that, yes, okay, so I can actually
They can
spell out
confine
my
in you.
problem and put it over there. And once they vent out their problems, they spell out their problems, I think most, half the problem is resolved there. And then,
And
of
I think
course,
this is the
we
courage. They are
mitigate
taking the
it.
courage, ma'am. They are taking the courage of
Yes.
pen down those things. It means the problem is half solved. intention of them is correct, so the solution will be there, ma'am. Wow, what a initiative your school is taking, ma'am. All the best for the future things, ma'am, and you keep doing these things. Now, ma'am, moving over to the next question, like inclusive education. As you are a part of a school who believes in the inclusive education, ma'am, what are the barriers? What are the barriers you are facing in those inclusive education? Because it's an area where societal acceptance is not there. So, can you throw a light on that, ma'am?
First of all, parental acceptance. For us, the biggest challenge is when we inform the parents or we counsel the parents or we have the first level of talks with parents about a child's problem. So that is very difficult, and it's very, it's very painful for the parent also when a parent is apprised of maybe a learning disability, or maybe we have just realized that yes, there is a developmental problem with the child. So acceptance by the parent, and yes, once a parent accepts it, then of course we have our entire process, because we're an inclusive school. We have our IEPs, we have our IRPs, we have a lot of other counseling sessions which we conduct. But the second thing is training the parent to handle the child, and sensitizing the class as well as the teachers on how they need to deal with these children, because these are children with varying levels of challenges. Some may have, it could be a cognitive challenge of different levels. Like if I say an
Yes.
autistic child, there are different levels and stages. If I say a dyslexic child, again there may be so many different levels. So to be able to identify what is the need of the child, and how do I go about addressing, how do I go about giving the child, empowering the child, so that whatever is a talent in the child comes to the fore. That is a big challenge. And our society still has a long way to go in terms of accepting these students, in terms of accepting them when they're out in the world. But I think what I would, something which is now very encouraging is we are becoming more open. Probably there's more inclusiveness around everywhere. So as another 10 years, when these children who are there at nursery, I mean, for me, at every section I have an inclusive
Okay.
process. There is inclusivity for me across. And we have what we call the shadow teachers, so the
Okay.
shadows are the ones who are constantly mentoring, and they are the ones who are guiding them along with the main teachers and the class teachers and the subject teachers. So they are the ones who are addressing the individual problems of the child, sitting down with the special educators, with the counselors, with the teachers, and devising a plan, so that whatever is the ability of the child, if the child is good at numericals, then we ensure that at least his numerical ability gets enhanced. There are children who are very good with, they're very good at spoken skills, but obviously they are handicapped when it comes to written skills. So we enhance that, and that is how we are able to at least ensure that the cognitive ability in every child is given enough scope to flourish. And then there is a lot of skilling which we do. We have a lot of vocational training in bits and pieces we are giving them. So it's a complete ecosystem which we have around the inclusion. And we've had a lot of success stories, Pooja, where we've had a child with he was he had juvenile diabetes, he was dyslexic, and he was also he had dysgraphia, but he scored 90% plus at commerce. I mean, he was the
Wow.
topper at my school at grade 12.
Wow,
And
ma'am.
parents, of course, play a very
Very
important role.
important.
So we have a lot of success stories. And actually, inclusion doesn't always mean students with challenges, it also means students who are gifted. So
Yes.
we have to, for me, the entire spectrum is equally important. Gifted children also need that platform for their potential and skill to flourish, just the way these special children need, children with learning and difficulties and challenges. Again, there are children, who are very passive. ठीक है, very complacent. There again, we have to nudge them. We have to
Yes.
ignite that passion in them so that they are able to, as they say, find their North Star and achieve and, realize their passion. So
I
there
think,
are a
ma'am,
lot of
it
success
is
stories
a
which
belief system.
my
I
school
think
has.
the term inclusion is a belief system, and it begins
Yes.
with the belief that every child has a strength to build up
Yes.
interest, to share an experience, to honor. And what kind of a thing which your school is doing by listening to the success story, that you are taking all the measures which can be taken, like talking about the shadow teacher,
Yes.
one-on-one sessions, so to making them a difference that they are a part of that learning system. And I think with this motto in
There's a lot
mind,
of mentoring also
yeah,
happening.
yeah.
Constant mentoring with the
I
students, with
think
the
making
parents,
them
with
feel
the teachers.
connected, making them feel
Yes.
connected to that mainstream will encourage them to do wonders. So they can leave their footsteps. And I think, ma'am, again, it's a way of thinking. It's our in the mindset. If they are running
And what
something,
and Pooja, for us, the biggest challenge is that we empower them with some skills, so that at least later on in life, at least they have, their self-esteem gets boosted. They feel
yes, yes,
confident, and at least they have that kind of a financial independence also. So that's what we keep telling the parents. We keep suggesting to them that these are the various vocational skills which they can develop in their children. These are the various other kinds of learning styles which they can incorporate in order to ensure that the child is able to at least cope up and be ready to face the world once he leaves the school portal you know
and again, the role of a teacher here comes a lot, because inclusion requires the teachers to believe that all the students are important. I have seen that teachers don't take care of it, but with this kind of environment which we are talking about, I think we can make them a better place. They will love to come. Now, ma'am, thank you for this wonderful take answer for your this inclusive education. And ma'am, moving ahead with our last question for today's, how will you empower your teachers, ma'am? Because I have seen you very closely. So this was a question which was in my mind to ask you. That how do you empower your teachers to be the leaders, ma'am? And you always do that. I know that.
the first thing is every teacher needs to understand that just the way we say that for a student no one size fits all, same way every teacher has to be dealt with differently. uh, what I personally do is I believe in making leaders and definitely not followers. And once we have see we in the kind of school system that I am currently working, the teachers are given lesson plans, and they're given the entire curriculum, and they're given the entire program. Now I leave it to the teachers how they are actually going to design, create, innovate, and deliver it in the class. So it's supposing Pooja and Preeti are teaching the same class and the same subject. Now Pooja will have a different style, Preeti will have a different style. So I at no point will let the two teachers, curb their styles. Each one is given the freedom to to be innovative, to be creative, to realize the potential. That is one thing. The second thing is I believe in pushing the teachers. Sometimes they don't realize they have the
Yes.
potential in them. So supposing and for me, if the teacher is not able to reach up to the expectations, it's absolutely fine. Just the way we tell our students, participation is important. It doesn't matter, but at least you made the effort and the attempt to take up the challenge of maybe hosting an event, of maybe comparing an event, of maybe just organizing something. Doesn't matter that if you've not been able to meet because the expectations are again set by us. So that is something which I've always believed in. The third thing is what I generally tell the teachers to do is that first, you should create a bond and a connect with the children. Teach the children, and please don't teach the subject. That's what is a very, very
Required.
important mindset. You have to connect with the children. Mathematics becomes a very scary subject. Why? Because the persona of the teacher, as it is a subject which scares, there's a myth around it. But if a teacher is able to create a bond, she's able to make them feel that, oh yes, I'm someone who's out there as a friend, not someone who's going to scare you. Half our job is done. So we first have teachers have to be friends and philosophers. to the students, and I am always there. For me, there is nothing which I feel is like, I have to be an authoritarian, or I have to always uh, kind of dominate over them. I always welcome ideas. I always encourage them to collaborate and share their ideas, because that's how the school has grown. It's I alone cannot do everything, but together we can do so much. And
Yes, ma'am.
every teacher comes with their own creativity. Every teacher comes with their own skill and talent. And we as leaders, we have to chisel at their talent. We are like we are the craftsmen who have to chisel at their talent and ensure that, yes, the teacher's potential is also brought to the fore. So just the way we deal with a child, with teachers are equally important. They also have to grow. They also have to
Yes.
evolve. They also have to, uh, you know, make sure that as they are growing, they bring value to the institution in which they are working. And again, I have a lot of success stories of how teachers come to us absolutely very fresh, but we give them a platform.
I think,
Generally, the
ma'am, the
world
best
says
part,
that
what I like
prove
about you.
yourself.
Yes.
Pooja, I've always believed in this: prove yourself, and then we'll give you an opportunity. For me,
Yes.
I give them an opportunity and I say, now prove yourself.
I
So,
think, ma'am, that spark, everybody has a spark that has to be ignited. And then the most of the work and the team leaders and the leaders like you can bring about a miracles in one's life. I think magic can happen, ma'am, if one start believing in themselves. And you are doing that kind of a work. You are making them action oriented. You are making them powerful. You are making them do this. I am there for you. Because, ma'am, as we all know that we all are unique. We all have different fingerprints, and we all can write our unique stories in a different way. So really, ma'am, all the viewers who are listening to me, and you must have got inspired by the kind of motivation you give to your teachers. Uh, I think the last question, ma'am, in only 2 words. What are your future goals? Only 2 words, ma'am. Not more than I know you are in the middle of something. Am I audible, ma'am? Ma'am, your future goals.
yes. So basically, serving, bringing about, being a change maker, in terms of inspiring the youth. I think that's very, very important. The, the, the students today need to know that, yes, they are they have so much of potential and power in them. They we have to have that power, that belief in them. So I've always wanted to do some kind of a community service and inspire the students also to do it. And we have a clubs through which we ensure that the children are giving back to society. The same way, giving back to society, and also making sure that we act as catalysts of change, whether in the school or outside in the world. So
Ma'am,
that
thank you
is
so
what
yeah. Thank you so much.
the
Yeah.
I
Sorry to
yes I'm
interrupt, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt. Am I audible?
yes you're
Yeah. So, ma'am, as a leader, you are a change maker. And when you are leading, you are going to bring about a change. And the change can only be brought about when there's a collective mobilization of the people. And with this platform of yours, which is a principle, you are changing the destiny of your teachers, of your students. Thank you once again, ma'am, for being with us, for sharing your stories, for sharing your happiness, your also your struggles. Thank you once again, ma'am. And
Thank you,
on this
Pooja, and
platform,
yeah,
yes, ma'am, please continue, ma'am.
yes, this was a challenge today to be present
But,
here.
ma'am, you
But
made it.
thank you so
You
much.
made
Pleasure
it, ma'am.
talking to you as
Thank
always.
you so much for giving us your precious time. I know you are in the middle of something, and this is the commitment which you have showed that being in that you came to the our show and you did it. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Bye bye.
Bye, bye, Pooja. Thank you,
Bye bye,
Idym.
ma'am. Bye bye. So now we have come to the completion of the program, and we'll meet again for the next session. Till then, bye bye.